lighthouse, shining in the darkness.
Hey everyone, I'm with Mr. Ivan Ramirez. He's actually in Chicago right now, and just wanted to let you hear a little bit about his story and how God changed his life, and how ministries like the Lighthouse can affect those who are struggling with addiction and other life-altering issues. So welcome, Mr. Ivan.
Hey, glad to be here, Brandon. How are you?
I'm good. So tell us a little bit about your history.
So born and raised in Chicago, youngest of seven. Didn't grow up in a family where we went to church. Just kind of didn't do much of anything. I always had a consciousness of God. If someone would stop me on the street and ask if you believed in God, I would say, of course I do. But I didn't have a relationship with Him, and God not being in the family left us open to other things. Eventually, as growing up, in my teenage years, ended up hanging out with guys in the gangs and doing things with them, partying with them, hanging out, becoming a gangbanger myself. Dropped out of high school twice. Second time, I knew I didn't want anything to do with school, and just headed nowhere quickly. Had no goals, no purpose, feeling empty inside. All that just kind of came to a head when I was about 17 years old, 18 years old. Feeling lonely, depressed, suicidal, and I cried out for help. I didn't know I didn't say, Jesus, help me. Right? I didn't even know how to formulate that kind of thinking. But God knew I was talking to Him. And there was a desire in my heart to hear the word. But I was too distracted with other things. So then come winter of 97, hanging out with some friends outside, getting ready. It's about 1 a.m. It's cold Chicago day. I had about 3 or 4 layers of clothing on and hanging out there like an idiot in the freezing cold, waiting for some people to come pick us up. Well, some people can't pick us up, but not the ones we were expecting. The Chicago Police Department, a couple of police officers came and put me in their squad car and took me down to the police station. Well, on the station, detective comes in and he has, a sheet with all my information on it. He asked my name, then what my street name was, and my instinct was I'm gonna lie to him, which he knew I was lying to him. And after maybe about 20 minutes, he asked, "Do you know why you're here?" I told him, "Yeah, the previous officer said that I was here for questioning the burglary." Now, I didn't join the gangs. I'm not a violent person. I didn't go around breaking into people's homes. I joined because I was lonely. I did drugs because I was lonely. I wanted to party with people because I was lonely. And so even to have been accused of burglary was beyond me. So he says, "You're lying to me again, because you know why you're here." I'm very confused at this point. I have no idea why I'm there. He tells me that I was wanted for questioning and murder. And I tell you, Brandon, my heart just sank to my feet to hear those. There's no way I can put what it's like to hear those words. After about 3 days of interrogation, I was charged with murder, 2 attempted murders, and 13 aggravated assaults. What had happened is that summer before, this was December 97, December 27, 1997. That summer, there was a large party that we were all attending. I went home about 1 a.m. and at 3 a.m., some guys came to that party, loaded up a bunch of guys in about 3 carloads and went to an overpass where some guys from the opposite gang were. Shot and killed 1 gentleman and the other 2 were severely beat. I found out all that information during trial. At this point in time, when I'm arrested and charged, I have none of this information is available to me. While there, Cook County Jail is in what they would call the hole, where you're only out 1 hour a day, and that's because of overcrowding issues. But my stay in the hole was extended because I had a cellmate who wanted to party New Year's Eve, and he wanted to party, so he messed with the sprinkler system that caused our cell to flood. And so we got 3 weeks in the hole. At that time, after my initial shock wears off, and I'm just sitting there, not looking to make friends, I start reading the Bible. I'm reading. Going through large books of the Bible within days. I got 23 out of 24 hours in my cell. Eventually, when I moved to Gen Pop, general population, chaplain comes by, asks if anyone wants to go to church, so I put in a form to go to church, go chapel service in the county jail. And at the chapel service, which was chapel service that was run by Chicagoland Prison Outreach, the gentleman there sharing his testimony about the power of God in his life. And as I'm sitting there, I'm listening to this, thinking, this sounds good to me. It sounds good to me. But I don't even know what it means to receive Christ, let alone get up and make a public display of intent to follow a religion. And so they give the invitation, if anyone wants to receive Christ, come up and we'll pray with you to receive Jesus. And I had no intention whatsoever to get up in front of all these guys who these guys, we're in Supermax security. So these guys are heads of gangs. These guys are some of them are in there for multiple murders. Other guys are in there for assaults of various kinds. I have no intention of showing any sign of weakness in front of these guys. But then I start crying like a little baby. I just felt so convicted. God's Spirit just kind of overwhelmed me, and I'm filled with all these different emotions. And I got up and asked Jesus Christ into my life. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. And that was the beginning of an incredible journey that's still going on today.
Very cool. So tell me about your new ministry right now, and how God's brought you from in jail to helping people in jail.
Oh man, that's quite the journey. It's been an incredible journey. So I got bailed out. 98, I was bailed out. Lived with a friend of mine, he's pastor of a local church, for about a year. And during that time, grew in the Lord. We would have nightly conversations about ministry, about the Bible, and I was getting involved in serving God. I was also attending church with my friend, but also attending Crawford Bible Church, which I think you're familiar with. You have some affiliation. The other Pastor Bauer, I was the pastor there. And I'm getting involved in serving God. And there are weekends where I'll just hang out with your dad all week long because I don't want to hang out with my old friends. Because I knew that if I hung out with them, I would start doing the same things that they were doing. And as this is going on, a friend of mine says, you ever think about being a pastor? And at this point, I'm just excited in serving God and just excited and hanging out with other believers. I had not thought about the future. So I decided, prayerfully decided that if this is what God has for me, I'm going to pursue it. And if he doesn't, well, I don't lose anything in getting some Bible education. So I got my GED, took the test twice, failed it the first time, failed certain sections, and so you just had to redo that section. Enrolled to Moody. Now, mind you, my court case is still going on during this. So I'm attending classes, and once a month I'm going to court. After a few more years of this, 2 years in, I was finally acquitted of all charges, which had nothing to do with the crime to begin with. I believe it was God's way of getting my attention because I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening to the easy way. So he's like, all right, we'll do it the hard way.
He does that sometimes.
Yeah, and so since then, God's opened up doors for me to pursue pastoral studies, which eventually led to opening doors to minister at a church that I'm still at for the past 16 years. During that time, I also got married, had 3 kids, and while involved in ministry, I got an email from the head of Chicagoland Prison Outreach saying they have some job openings. And my situation was such that I had an opportunity to pursue one of those openings. And after he and I sat and talked, he said, the prisons are shut right now. He says, but we have another opportunity for ministry. And so the ministry that I got saved at is now a ministry that I have an opportunity to work at and helping out the family members of those who are incarcerated. So right now, go ahead.
Yeah, very cool. I'm excited about that. So
Yeah.
So you're working for the same organization where you got saved.
Yeah.
That helped you find Jesus.
Yeah, it really is kind of incredible how God brought things full circle.
Very cool. So how do programs like the Lighthouse help those who are struggling? I know that prison ministries and the Lighthouse are not the same, but we have a common bond, which is Jesus Christ and the gospel. So how do ministries like the Lighthouse help those that you're serving see the same Jesus that you found in jail?
And here's the similarities to our ministry. We're very much frontline ministries. We come in people's lives at crucial moments of big decisions where they're gonna decide either to go one way or another. Either they're gonna go further into their addictions or further into their mess, or they're gonna get help. And we're there to provide that help, that Christ-centered, gospel-centered help, which really is the only help that can change somebody's life. There are other addictions programs and there are other things that are offered to people that can provide some behavioral adjustment, but only Jesus, through ministries like the Lighthouse, changes somebody at their core. And it's when they experience that core change, and then out of that, by the Spirit, they can then experience these behavioral changes that will result in a productive life.
It's a lifestyle change based in Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. Very quickly, I'll share with you just the other day, I had a phone call. I got a text message from a gentleman who is just fed up with life kicking him around, and he was contemplating ending it all. And so I called him up after a brief conversation. I'll be at your house. And I went and just sat and just listened to his story, listened to his frustrations, offered some advice. I texted him, been texting with him since, and asked him, how you doing today? He says, I'm doing much better. Well, that's what we bring to people who are at these crucial points in their lives. So Lighthouse Ministry, Chicagoland Prison Outreach, and other ministries like this, we are there for people in crucial times to help them make Christ-centered decisions.
Very cool. So I'm excited about working together moving forward with you in hopefully multiple different ways. And it's just exciting to me how God's redeemed your life and now brought it full circle to be able to help those who are still struggling like you were at 18.
I'm also excited to see how God's worked in your life, going from working on your master's over at Judson to working for the Salvation Army and just being open to God leading you to start a ministry. I mean, that's a huge venture. and I'm grateful that you allow the Lord to lead you in this so that other people can benefit from what God's doing in your life through your life into other people's lives. So I'm really grateful for your
Sure.
openness to God's leading and your compassion for those who need Jesus.
Well, thank you. So if someone wanted to learn more about your ministry, where would they go?
Go to ChicagolandPrisonOutreach.org and you can learn more about CPO and what they do and how we help those both who are incarcerated and those who are and their family members.
Very cool. Well, thank you for your time with us. I look forward to chatting more in the future. If
Absolutely.
you want to, if you want to contact Ivan, please go to that website, or you can contact the Lighthouse at biblicalliferecoverycenter.com, and we can forward those emails on to him. Thank you, Mr. Ivan, for joining us.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it.
No problem. Have a great day.
Before us, you're the